Hello again. I'm Amanda Green and I'm a couples counselor. Welcome back to my channel, Evolving in Love. Or if it's your first time here, welcome. Today we're continuing our journey through my new book, The Butterfly Blueprint, Revitalize Your Relationship and Keep Your Heart Fluttering Forever. Now these videos build on one another, so I suggest you go back and watch the first 4 chapters. Picture this. One circle is blue and the other red. On their own, they're both great colors. Nothing wrong with being blue or red. But what happens when these two colors come together, like two people trying to connect in a relationship? Which color or partner will dominate when it comes to those typical issues related to sex, money, parenting, extended family, jobs around the house? You know all the topics. Who will get their own way? It feels like it has to be one or the other, right? Imagine one partner wants to spend on a dream vacation now. They're thinking, let's live a little. I could be dead tomorrow. Where the other is focused on saving for a new house, thinking about long-term financial security. It feels like a standoff, vacation or house. They only have so much money, they can't both get their own way. So who's going to win? Who's going to give in? The problem is, if one partner feels like they're losing, the whole relationship suffers. It's not just about blue or red winning, but finding a way to blend the two, to create something new and share. Just like a butterfly's wings must work together in harmony, a relationship needs 2 winners. Chapter 5 dives into the first principle of the butterfly blueprint, surrender, which is all about letting go of what doesn't work, what disconnects you, in order to make room for something better and different. Imagine a leaf floating on the surface of a stream. It's not fighting against the current. It just lets the water carry it effortlessly. That's what we're talking about here. Letting go of the need to force, letting go of the need to control things, and trusting the flow around you. Or think about a caterpillar. At a certain point in its life, it's so bloated from munching on milkweed that it literally can't go on the way it's been living. So what does it do? Instead of clinging to what's familiar, it surrenders by hanging upside down and wrapping itself in a chrysalis where everything changes. The caterpillar doesn't fight this process. It trusts it, even though it's leaving behind the old and facing uncertainty ahead. This letting go is crucial for the caterpillar's transformation into a butterfly. And in the same way, in our relationships, sometimes we have to surrender, release those old beliefs, old fears, or the need to control, so we can open ourselves to new possibilities and grow. But it isn't easy, especially when we're stuck in conflict. Instead, we get caught up in what I like to call the attack-defend duality dilemma. Each partner is trying to push their own perspective. One wants to enjoy life now. The other is focused on financial security in the future. One criticizes. Why can't we just take a break and live a little? We're always saving and planning for the future. I need a vacation. Are we supposed to work ourselves to death and never enjoy life? The other pushes back. You're always thinking short term. What happens if we blow all our savings and then can't afford a house? What if I lose my job? We need stability, not a vacation. Why can't you see the bigger picture? Soon it's a never-ending cycle of attack and defend, like an infinity loop, round and round with no resolution. And it's interesting to notice that an infinity loop is a lot like a Venn diagram. But what's the difference? What's missing? The shared space in the middle. And this is the space we have to build consciously if we want to have a different, more positive experience. Instead, we become like two opposing sets of wings, pulling in different directions, and nobody gets anywhere. Surrender means embracing a state of being rather than constantly reacting or trying to control. After all, we are called human beings, not human doings. It's about stepping out of the mindless cycle of defensiveness, pushing, pulling, arguing, and making space for something deeper. The first step in practicing surrender is learning to be defenseless. When you defend yourself, you're not just protecting yourself, you're pushing your partner away. Think about that blue and red circle. We want to form a connection, but defenses like criticism, emotional withdrawal, trying to be right all the time, all those things block connection. Each time you argue or push for the last word, those circles clash and bounce off each other, keeping the space between you empty. Instead of building a relationship, all your energy goes into protecting yourself. I often ask couples, if I were a fly on the wall during one of your arguments, what would I see and hear? You can ask yourself the same question. What would it be like to watch yourself from the side? Focus on you, not your partner. What are your defensive moves? Do you fight, avoid, or shut down? The more aware you are of your defenses, the easier it becomes to catch yourself and choose a different path forward. Letting go of the need to defend actually protects the relationship itself. I call this connection protection. It's about making small, intentional changes in how you respond. Ask yourself, how am I contributing to this stuck pattern? And then rate your behavior on a scale from 1 to 10. If you're at a 9 for yelling, let's say, what if you could bring it down to an 8.5? What would that look like? Then work toward an 8. It's not about perfection or getting to 0, but just about small conscious steps toward improvement. Whether you're the one yelling or giving the silent treatment, little changes can make a big difference over the long run. The second step toward surrender is being present. Think of yourself like a radio, constantly tuning through stations. Thoughts, worries, to-do lists. Being present means stopping on just one station, your partner's experience. It's about truly listening without all the background noise of everything else that's going on. When you shine your attention on your partner, focus fully on them. Lean into their experience without turning it back on yourself, without demanding or pushing. In the Venn diagram of your relationship, this presence happens in the shared space where you shift from your own circle to meet in the middle. Being present isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's expanding your awareness and making the effort to understand your partner's perspective, trying to see through their eyes. What's it like to be blue? Or what's it like to be red? You don't have to get it perfectly. Just trying makes a difference. Think about something you love, like watching a soccer game on TV, cooking a favorite meal, or spending time with your child. You're fully engaged in those moments, giving your attention freely. Now imagine bringing that same level of presence to your partner. What would it look like to show up with that kind of focus and care? Now, offering your presence is hardest when emotions are high, but that's when it matters the most. In heated moments, try to see past your partner's defenses and tune into what they're really feeling and trying to say. Pause, look at them, listen, limit distractions, put down your phone, Turn off the TV or shut your computer. Resist the urge to interrupt, fix, or give advice. Just be there. Sometimes your presence is the greatest gift you can give. In fact, I would say you are the gift. You are the fix. The third key to surrender is being open, letting your partner in. We often like to say, I'm an open book, but over time, some pages get stuck and certain chapters become harder to access. Your partner can't understand your thoughts and feelings unless you share them. Being open doesn't mean spilling everything out all at once. It's about sharing with the intention to connect. Imagine creating a window or a door into your circle of the Venn diagram, allowing access to that shared space in the middle. This is where you form the body of the butterfly, the part that unites both sets of wings to move together. Yes, being open is scary, especially when you fear judgment or having your words used against you later on down the road. Many of us were taught to hide our true selves or our true feelings. Don't ever let them see you cry. Keep your feelings to yourself. We all have parts we want to avoid or things that make us feel ashamed or out of control. But leaving your partner in the dark, guessing, trying to figure out how to get it right with you, only creates distance. You can't build a shared space without sharing yourself. True connection can't happen if there are walls between you. Remember, being open also means articulating your feelings. Many say, I'm not very articulate, or I need time to process things in my head. That's okay. Openness isn't about being perfect. It's just about trying. Every small effort to express yourself, even imperfectly, helps to build the connection. Start small and give yourself grace as you practice being vulnerable. Okay, here's a fun exercise to practice surrender as a couple. Let's take Carlos and Maya tackling a do-it-yourself kitchen renovation. Carlos is the dive right in type. Figure things out as he goes, power tools ablazing. Whereas Maya prefers to read the manual. She likes to plan everything out methodically, taking one step at a time. Carlos ends up feeling micromanaged by Maya and tells himself she doesn't trust him. And Maya ends up worried that Carlos will make costly mistakes and they'll end up spending more money and taking more time in the long run. Sound familiar? In counseling sessions, I've heard so many stories about renovations and fights around renovations. They can use the principle of surrender to navigate this. The three practices, being defenseless, being present, and being open, can help. Carlos might ask himself, how do I react when I feel micromanaged? How can I lower my defenses and be more open to Maya's concerns? Maya could consider, am I focusing on the present or am I worrying about potential future mistakes? How can I stay grounded and present right now? Both can practice openness by sharing their thoughts and feelings. Carlos might say, I tell myself you don't trust me when you question what I'm doing. While Maya could explain, I'm just afraid things won't go right and it stresses me out. Are you and your partner planning a renovation anytime soon? Well, how could you practice this principle of surrender? Try being defenseless, present, and open with each other. Ask yourselves, how can we work together interdependently instead of pulling in opposite directions? Give it a try and see what happens. Okay, that wraps up our discussion on Chapter 5. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're going to join me next time for Chapter 6 called Equality. I can't wait to share it with you. Thanks again. See you soon.